Good morning, everybody. As Dr. Chant and I foreshadowed yesterday, in a pandemic we expected there to be additional cases, and sure enough, after 8 p.m. last night, we have become aware after testing that a woman who works at a hotel, in a quarantine hotel, has acquired the disease. Health is still going through the interview process and the investigations to determine exactly how the disease was acquired. But this is a good warning for all of us that we have to maintain our vigilance. Apart from that, there weren't any other cases to 8 p.m. last night, but there were 9 identified in hotel quarantine. And as we said, and as I said yesterday, the hotel quarantine is robust. It served us well. But when you are welcoming 3,000 Australians back every single week, and when we know the rate of infection is increasing in all parts of the world, that we have to remain ever vigilant. And Dr. Chant will give us a more detailed update on the circumstances of this case, what it means. Both the Health Minister and myself have received numerous updates late last night, during the night and this morning. And we're absolutely confident that the New South Wales Health Team is on top of what they need to do. In fact, they have already taken a number of steps to make sure we control the spread of the virus as much as possible. We have already issued public information to ask anybody in and around those communities, those suburbs, those public transport routes and other locations that have been impacted to come forward for testing. And we please ask everybody to take that advice. This is a very serious situation, but one at this stage we feel we're managing. In relation to the easing of restrictions on Monday, the best and most recent advice I've received is that there is no change to what we're proposing to do on Monday. However, I do stress that this is an evolving situation. And if any time of the day Dr. Chant gives me alternate advice, I will not hesitate to take that advice, because that's what served New South Wales well. But again, this is an opportunity for all of us to come together as a community and to take the health advice, to make sure that if we live in and around the Minto area, if we live in those suburbs identified, or we're on those transport routes during those times that the person with the disease was, that we should take those measures. This is a stark reminder about how contagious the disease is, what a risk it is, and also the burden that New South Wales plays day in and day out in managing our quarantine system. And I do want to thank the New South Wales Police Force, our health experts, the federal authorities, everybody involved in this process. It is a mammoth exercise, And I ask all of us to maintain our vigilance. This is a warning to us that we can't afford to be complacent. And especially as further restrictions are eased on Monday, I don't want us to go backwards at this stage. At this stage, the health advice doesn't require us to. But if in the next few days the situation changes and the health advice changes, I will not hesitate to act as the Premier, because my priority is the health and well-being of our citizens, as well as obviously keeping people employed. But the health and well-being of our citizens always takes priority. That's the way we've managed the pandemic, and we've managed to balance that against the needs of maintaining livelihoods. And I stress again, at this stage, there is no change to what we're intending to do on Monday, but it is an evolving situation. And if that advice changes, then we will act accordingly. But at this stage, there is absolutely no reason to alter that advice. And there is absolutely no reason to change what we announced yesterday. But it is, again, a stark reminder of what can occur in a pandemic. This won't be the only time we have an unexpected case come up, or a number of cases. We have to expect this. But what I do know is that we're as prepared as any jurisdiction in the world. And this is why it is so important for all of us to make sure we sign in when we go somewhere. Those QR codes are absolutely essential. Making sure you tap on and off when you're using public transport. And I want to thank the transport authorities for getting back to health in such a quick time with the details of when that person tapped on and tapped off. And similarly, if we're attending any organisation, any venue, you must register, and the organisation must ensure that anybody who uses their premises or comes into their premises has that information, because that allows health to get on top of it sooner rather than later, because hours can make a difference when you're dealing with a pandemic and when you're dealing with a very contagious disease.